Hello, and welcome to the Reselling Report for today, Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. I'm your host, Ann Eckhart, and every weekday morning I upload the Reselling Report here to YouTube to update you on the day's retail and e-commerce news, including the latest from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Mercari, and Poshmark. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's get on with today's show. Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you are all doing well wherever you are, whether you are self-quarantining or out on the front lines. I always want to try to remember to say a very special thank you to those of you who are out at the hospitals, the grocery stores, working to keep this economy and this country going. I certainly appreciate you. I know you are working yourselves way harder than normal, as well as exposing yourself to potential infection in order for the rest of us to be able to safely stay at home and hopefully have jobs to go back to. I know it's a scary time for everyone. If you have suffered job loss, your income is down if you're self-employed like I am. There are programs out there, but of course it has been very frustrating to apply even for unemployment. Unemployment is now available for those of us who are self-employed and sole proprietors, but it is state by state. So depending on the state system, how soon you're going to get it. Now, I did apply for partial. I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't gotten anything yet. However, when the program first opened for the disaster relief, this was a month ago now, probably, where it said you could get an up to $10,000 forgivable loan. I did apply for that because it popped up and I wanted to see what would happen. Then it came out later that what it would be is $1,000 per employee. And I was not expecting anything out of this. I just thought, I'll go through the steps. I wanted to report on the show how it went and whatever. If I'm approved, I'm approved. If I'm not, I'm not. Didn't think I would. Woke up this morning to find $1,000 in my bank account. So I did get that $1,000. I have one employee. It's me. I have not, however, got the stimulus payment of $1,200, even though I did go through the portal and make sure that my direct deposit information was in there. I did not get that. So still waiting for that. I know a lot of you are still waiting for that, still struggling with unemployment. I have heard that unemployment will be retroactive, meaning down the line when they get it straightened out, you'll get your money. But when you have bills to pay now, it's difficult. I've talked before about seeing if there are options with your local bank or other banks in your area. I know my bank is offering personal disaster loans. They're offering another loan where will consolidate all of your credit card debt. If you own a home, of course, you can look into a home equity loan. So, and then of course, credit card offers and stuff, which nobody wants to take on debt. But at this time, if you've got bills to pay and kids to feed, that might be what you need to do, which it sucks for everybody. Here's the thing. Everybody's in the same boat, right? If you've lost your job or had a decrease in unemployment, a lot of people are going through the same thing. So I know that's little comfort when you have a bill due, but not knowing that you're not alone, that so many other people are going through the same thing. I hope you do find a little comfort in that and reach out locally and see what support is available for you in your area. Again, contacting your local financial institution, contacting other banks in your area if you're not getting what you need from your local bank, and see what you can find if you need that help. Before I jump into the news from the reselling sites themselves, I do want to touch on a couple of things going on in the overall economic news world. USA Today has a post, House to vote on billions for small businesses. The House is scheduled to vote today on a $484 billion plan to revive a program geared to keep small businesses from shuttering and their employees from going on unemployment. The deal will provide more funds to the Paycheck Protection Program, which was halted last week after it ran out of money. The state approved the plan Tuesday by voice vote, and President Trump has said he supports it. The bill provides loans to small businesses, including some set aside for smaller businesses that don't have established relationships with banks and had a hard time accessing the funds in the first round of loans. It will also provide funds for hospitals, testing, and bolster the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program, which it also dried up because of the coronavirus. Now, that disaster loan program, that's where I got the $1,000 from. So this is adding some more money into that. And like I said, it's looking at more smaller businesses, usually called micro businesses, that maybe weren't able to access the funds in the first place. So there will be more money in there. Again, your chances, I feel, if you're a reseller and you're a one-person operation, of getting the PayPal protection really isn't going to happen because you're usually your own employee. But that disaster loan program where I got the $1,000, it's being replenished, so that might be an option. I know $1,000 isn't going to get you much in terms of your business, but maybe if you need some capital to get some new inventory, supplies, whatnot, if you are able to access that, it will help you out. I will link the Small Business Administration's page where they have all the information about the funds that are available out there for small businesses, including those of us who are self-employed and sole proprietors. We all know that businesses are struggling during this time, and according to an article on CNBC, 11% of global CEOs fear their business won't survive coronavirus. A survey of 3,500 chief executive officers around the globe conducted by YPO last week shows a marked downturn in the business confidence of corporate leaders. The hospitality and restaurant sector has the most dire outlook, with more than 40% of CEOs saying their businesses may not survive the coronavirus crisis. More than 40% of CEOs globally expect revenue to be down by 20% a year from now. Over half of chief executives around the world believe coronavirus is a significant threat to their businesses, but worse, 11% fear their business won't survive the resulting economic downturn. In all, 84% of respondents to the April survey said the business outlook is more dire than it was on March 1st, when there were less than 500 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the U.S. The U.S. Senate, again, has passed that bill that they're voting on today to prop up small businesses, but the survey found that 64% of executives anticipate lower revenues continuing at least 1 year from now. 16% believe their revenues will actually be higher. 43% of CEOs expect revenue to be down by more than 20% in a year, with the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia regions most likely to predict a larger decrease. The outlook on employment is better, however, with 51% of CEOs polled saying their total number of employees will be the same or higher 1 year from now. But 1/4 of respondents expect the number to be down by more than 20%, with businesses in Canada, Australia, the Middle East, and North Africa region more likely to lose than those in the U.S. to anticipate big headcount reductions. The article goes on to say business closures amid the pandemic have sent unemployment claims soaring to record levels, almost completely wiping out the 22 million jobs gained since the Great Recession. Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York said Tuesday that the state's unemployment system collapsed due to the surge in claims. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announced Monday that the state would be allowing certain businesses, including gyms and nail salons, to reopen. Other states, including Florida, Ohio, Tennessee, are expected to follow suit over the next few weeks. Scott Mordell, the CEO of YPO, said the survey indicates a significant decline in leader sentiment as businesses deal with the government stimulus, stock vitality, and global GDP dips. What's been amazing is that I expected more variability across the regions, Mordell said. Everybody sees the same sharp recession and long recovery. 61% of executives indicated the economy will follow a U-shaped recovery turn, which represents a sharp recession with a prolonged recovery. 22% anticipate a W-shaped curve or a double-dip recovery. Mordell said that while the pandemic is having an alarming negative impact right now, it will stand as a monumentous point in history and impact global life and business forever. I think it's one of the most incredible experiments humankind has ever done, and we shouldn't lose sight of that. So when, we talk about reselling, we're kind of in our own little bubble of retail and business overall, but the economy itself generally favors resellers when the economy is bad, which is terrible. But people are looking for deals. They're more willing to sell their stuff to get quick cash, which means we typically have more sources of inventory, and then people go online, they're looking for deals. And we've talked before about how the coronavirus has sent more people shopping online than ever before, including people who hadn't been shopping online before. So we're getting more people who are now more confident shopping online, which will benefit all e-commerce, but certainly reselling for sure. We'll be the ones who are able to offer the deals. We aren't reliant on the supply chain coming from China if we're sourcing secondhand. We have more access to inventory, and we can offer those products that maybe people can't find in the brick and mortar stores or on the big retail sites. They can come to us for them, get a deal, and get their items shipped out quickly. So I still believe that reselling, and from what I'm hearing right now, reselling is doing pretty well as is. But certainly with a downturn in the economy, reselling typically does pretty well. Now, that being said, we don't want a downturn in the economy that is going to affect everyone. But if you're a reseller, we are definitely in one of the industries where, as someone who's been doing that since 2005, you can be confident that reselling is definitely going to be here to stay and likely thrive in the coming months and maybe even the next couple of years until we get this coronavirus under control. Either it disappears, there's an effective treatment, or more importantly, there's a vaccine. Yesterday, I reported on Etsy's stock market performance. Basically, I didn't know what I was talking about. I just read from an article and hope that those of you who understand the stock market understood. Going to be doing the same today when it comes to eBay. There's an article on Yahoo Finance entitled eBay Earnings Expected to Grow, What to Know Ahead of Next Week's Release. It says Wall Street expects a year-over-year increase in earnings on lower revenues when eBay reports results for the quarter ended March 2020. While this widely known consensus outlook is important in gauging the company's earning picture, a powerful factor that could impact its near-term stock price is how the actual results compare to these estimates. The earnings report, which is expected to release on April 29th, might help the stock move higher if these key numbers are better than expectations. On the other hand, if they miss, the stock may move lower. So we'll get eBay's stock report, I guess, on the 29th. Hopefully by then, someone else will be able to decipher it and at least give me a little bit of better information on how to translate it to you. But yeah, just a little report, I suppose, for people who are actually in the stock market and if they hold eBay stock. Again, this article will be linked in the show notes if you want to go over and read it. I won't bore you anymore reading it because it's just me talking and I don't understand really a word of what this article says. But if you're interested, it's linked in the show notes below. Turning now to Etsy, there is a post on InStyle.com entitled, These 9 Vintage Fashion Trends Are Big for Summer 2020, and I found them all on Etsy. So these types of articles where they talk about trends and what's going to be popular, I like to look at even if I'm not selling on the platform. I'm not currently selling on Etsy, but these are things to think of for eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, wherever you sell. So this article says, I'll admit that lately a good portion of my downtime has been spent on the phone. And while I'm not scrolling through Instagram, stuck in a TikTok hole, or FaceTiming family and friends, I'm most likely on Etsy searching for vintage clothing. Snagging slightly more affordable vintage versions of today's top trends is my ultimate fashion hack. And right now my cart is full of fabulous finds waiting to be purchased when the time and my budget is right. For me, the key to getting the good stuff on Etsy has been knowing exactly what I'm looking for. The more detailed you get in the search bar, embroidered cardigans, 50s prom dresses, red leather pants, etc., the better your results will be. Then you can play around with filters to find options in your size, ultimately leading you to the perfect piece. This method hasn't failed me yet. Some of my favorite dresses, sweaters, and coats have been purchased through the site. So let's see what they're saying will be the trend this summer. We have matching sets, coordinated tops and bottoms, suits, and cardigan twin sets. A whole lot of collars. There are so many throwback collar trends happening at the moment between polo shirts and pilgrim collars. Well, that's interesting. A 40s to 50s vibe seems to be the look people are going for. Then we have mom shorts. Blame it on the love of comfort or the fact that the 90s is still going full force. But over the past few years, shorts preferences have gotten longer and longer, and high-rise nearly hit the knee, aka a true mom short, are what people are looking for, and khakis have returned. Then we have Slingbacks. This says there's something so elegant about a classic slingback shoe, and a closed-toe style is the perfect in-between on days when you're not wanting to wear sandals. Then we have playful prints. Last summer, the overall aesthetic was fashion clown, and in 2020, embrace it even more, especially when it comes to polka dots. Then we have pleated skirts. Adding a jacket or scarf to your outfit is a quick way to make things more elevated and pull together look. However, you don't want to pile on layers in 90-degree heat. The best alternative is investing in small eye-catching details such as pleats in a skirt. Then we have voluminous details, including ruffles, balloon sleeves, and neckties. And then we have jumpsuits, which were popular last year, I think. But yeah, jumpsuits, boiler suits, and coveralls will still likely be on trend. Colorful pants, bright colors, color blocking, and those things will still be on trend this summer. So again, whatever site you sell on, if this is what's kind of trendy, whether you pick it up vintage or secondhand from a current style, looks like this is what people might be shopping for here in the next few months. Over on the Poshmark Facebook page, they have posted, "Be patient with yourself." That's it. It's just a graphic that says be patient with yourself. They also did a live feed yesterday sharing Power Hour. This is where they go live, and you can link your Posh closet and they will share it out. They've also added a number of Posh and coffees. Yesterday there were a couple. There are more on their calendar actually for April 25th as well as May 2nd. So if you're interested in doing one of their virtual Posh and Sip is what they're called in person. These are Posh and Coffee where they do them virtually, then head over to their Facebook page and you can RSVP for these upcoming events. And finally today, there's a really interesting article over on entrepreneur.com entitled E-Commerce Entrepreneurship Grows as Unemployment Rises. This is from Jennifer Spencer, the CEO of Emergent Media. The article says, the recent rise in unemployment in America has been staggering, and there are a few companies that haven't been impacted. Although in e-commerce, some brands are reporting sales similar to the heights of Black Friday as quarantine consumers continue spending more online. Niches experience spikes include exercise equipment, kitchenware, athleisure, and health supplements. So if you're newly out of work, it's worth considering there are solution providers making it increasingly possible to start an online brand overnight. The e-commerce option, while many don't understand, is the process of turning an idea into an actual online store with sales flowing in. Nick Peroni, the founder of E-Com Empires, believes growing an online store can be straightforward. Then it puts a video where he talks about how he scaled his e-commerce store to more than $21,000 in 3 weeks. Then there's a section, how to get started in e-commerce. It says Nathan Resnick, the founder of Sourcify, launched its product sourcing school to teach people everything they need to know about bringing their own products to market. And then ends with, now is the time. If you're on the path to starting your own e-commerce business, it's important to look at current data to analyze which category you should really focus on. Though we will hopefully restore normalcy in the long run, if you are looking for income that will supplement your unemployment, it's important to make sure you're starting a brand in a category that's seen a sales spike. History has shown that recessions are the base upon which fortunes can be made. These days, e-commerce can be the foundation, especially now that we have and can easily access all the tools we need to start. So, of course, this is geared toward people who are going to source new products, probably like liquidation or maybe even creating their own products to sell. But, and it doesn't mention the reselling sites themselves. This is really for people who maybe want to start a Shopify store. But, again, this does point to the fact that e-commerce is, I think, the place to be right now. And as resellers, we're already there. So again, it's just a comfort to know that as we continue to navigate the coronavirus and the shutdowns and income losses, job losses, and all the scary things that are going on, those of us who have our foundation in reselling are better poised really than anyone, I think, to sustain ourselves during this time. And that's a wrap on today's show. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me your questions and comments. Also, check out the show notes below the video for links to the articles I referenced. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.